Well, good afternoon, everybody. Mark here with Enviroguard. Thanks for taking some time to either attend today or to watch this video later on. As you probably saw for the last few months, we have been working on a new OxyPrep formulation with a lot of different ideas of what we could do to enhance the product. Certainly, faster stain removal is one of those things. But as you probably saw in the email, there's 5 areas that we really focused on for this formula update. The first is faster stain removal, where we've seen about a 30% improvement in the speed of stain removal. And as I'm talking about that, what I want to not shy away from is our partnership with Dow Chemical. They have been a 25-year partner with us. And that's been different things to our development because we have laboratories and they have laboratories. We've been able to collaborate in a lot of ways that have brought product to the market faster, whether that's in our Phoenix roofing systems or whether that's in this update to the OxyPrep formula. Now, turning our attention back to this formula, they have a great new surfactant and stabilizer that they've offered us. And it's those 2 things and more. When I say surfactant, I mean a product that allows for the faster wetting out of surfaces, meaning that we can get OxyPrep into the surface faster than we've ever been able to in the past, which is what gives us that faster stain removal. When I talk about stabilizer, I mean that it's shelf stable, meaning that temperature impacts the formula less. Opening up the package impacts the formula less. And in fact, I put a little note in the original email saying that the new formula, after being open for 90 days, performs equal to the existing formula straight out of production. So that's significant over the course of time. If something sits on someone's shelf for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and the package has already been open, how is it going to perform? Well, now we know. The other attribute that we've seen is better embedded stain removal. And this actually speaks directly to when you have embedded stains in resinous materials or harder materials, such as hardwoods and things like that, or OSBs, manufactured materials. These oftentimes are more difficult to remove staining from as compared to southern yellow pine, for example, which is the most prevalent building material. Nevertheless, we run into all these other more difficult or more challenging materials. And so the new formula being a better stain remover for embedded mold staining is going to have an impact overall on the performance of your services. Then we get to foaming ability. So I wanted to mention that foaming can and will be especially important to those who are especially performing services for commercial, institutional, and industrial applications. I've run into situations, for example, at Procter & Gamble, where scissor lifts need to be used to get to ceilings and things. And when that's the case, you need something that's going to remain stable in a foam overhead where you're not going to get a lot of dripping and you can maximize contact time. So this new product being able to foam, which OxyPrep traditionally has not been able to foam in the past, now begins to set us apart from competition and allows you maybe to perform services better, faster, more completely that aren't able to be performed by your competitors using competitive products. And then finally, a stronger react, extract, neutralization reaction. This means that we can push soil load to surfaces faster, and hopefully we can push more soil load per neutralization reaction so that we see actually a reduction, especially when we get into mold severity indexes 4 and 5 that end up saving time and saving money in terms of overall chemistry. So as I mentioned, all of these enhancements don't come at no cost, right? I put out what the new cost will be. It looks like at MSRP, we're talking about a difference of around $15 per 5-gallon pail, or around $3 per gallon. So I sent that out to everyone as a means of being extremely transparent with what's going on, what the performance benefits are, what the value is, and then what the cost would be on the other side of that. So what we are planning for right now is the beginning of production batches this week. Now, we still have product in the system that we are going to continue to move through. On the 4x1 gallon cases, that's moving very rapidly. So by early in November, probably at the latest, the midpoint of November, but maybe sooner, we should be sending out 4x1 gallon cases with the new formula. I don't know yet where the 5-gallon pails are going to come in, because not only do we have inventory, of course, in the Carolinas, but also elsewhere, right? Up in Mid-Atlantic, up in manufacturing and things like that. So that has to make its way through our system. It will do so at the original cost, and for certified firms, of course, that's going to be at $140.25 for the 5-gallon pail and $127.50 for the 4x1 gallon case. So only after we work our way out of that and transition into the new formula would new pricing take effect. But I didn't want to make any moves without everyone knowing exactly why we're making this transition, what it means to the performance of your business and your services, so that it was substantiated. I don't like making price increases, but when it makes sense, and in this case, we're looking at true performance benefits, then it simply makes sense. And if that translates into less chemical use over the course of time and faster service, then of course it'll be worth it for everybody. One last performance benefit that may be the case, but more testing in the field needs to take place, and that might be with the new stabilizer. You may see lower fumes from the product. So that is just something to look out for. I would love your feedback as you are using the new formula, if you're seeing the same thing, but would love to know if you're seeing that, and if so, to what degree. Is it 20% less fumes? And that's just going to be kind of subjective, but would love to get your feedback about this. Anyway, let me, I know that not a whole lot of folks are able to oftentimes make it into these, late day conversations and things, but I want to make sure I do open up for any questions that have come up since you saw this email go out, or perhaps in regard to the presentation I'm making right now. And if there's no questions, we'll go ahead and make sure that this video gets put out for everybody by email probably tomorrow. We'll shoot an email out, and then we'll post a link to it maybe on social media or something like that. I don't know. It'll go on the website. There's something that's going to happen after this, and it'll be helpful to everybody, because when it comes to the certified partners, I believe that now there's somewhere around like 200 people who are involved overall nationwide. So a decent sized audience. Any questions? Okay. Well, then what we'll go ahead and do is wrap this up, and like I said, get this video out there. And I think that's it for the day. Is there anything, Charles or Dalen, that I'm forgetting?
I don't think so. We touched on the 30% more. We've got the foaming on there, and then the price increase. I think that about covers the bullet points that I had.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, then, goodbye from New Jersey, and we will talk to you all soon. Take it easy.